Hi, so I essentially went over every single big pot DGAF had played before he started winning, and then after as well. And after he started winning, I actually looked at like every single hand, and I kind of color coded them to get an idea of like how many like incorrect versus correct decisions he was making. And like you can't like read into the colors too much. You kind of have to look at the actual hands. So we can start, like, we don't really need to look at any hands before he started winning. Like, he clearly wasn't cheating here. He was definitely making mistakes. And it's kind of a question whether he was continuing to make mistakes during that period of time where he won a lot. So I looked at basically every hand he played for the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions after, and like we can look at the actual hands here. So this first session he won 21K. And let's look at some of these hands. Okay, so he has, this is a bomb pot, and basically he ends up, he bets flop, and then he gets raised on turn, he folds. I think it's like pretty reasonable bomb pot to fold here, 9-8. Beans just gives him 2K with 4 deuce suited. Let's see. Here, he has ace jack on jack 8-4 versus beans. And the flop bet was 300 and he makes it 1K, and then basically gets in, I guess he gets in 6K on the flop here. It's like super standard. I don't think it's really evidence of anything other than he's not like blatantly cheating in terms of like potentially folding ace jack at any point here. So he's like getting in what he's supposed to get in. Let's see here. So this is a hand that gets to the river on, oh, let's see. Let's move this over a little bit. So this gets to the river on 10-8 or 8-7-6 10-7. And he has the opportunity to check back here or bluff if he's cheating, but he doesn't. He actually he bets 400 into 3K, which obviously isn't good if you know he has jack 7. So like that's not really suspicious. And then here he min 3 bets with king 7 suited against kings. And those were the only significant pots of that session timestamped. I didn't look at every single one for this specific session, but these next sessions on 523, I actually clicked through and checked every single hand to see if he was like making any ridiculous folds on the flop that like the YouTube guy wouldn't put in the timestamps. So let's see these hands. I've brought out the important ones. So here he leads. I think he like check calls flop or something, check turn, and then he leads river.
She does raise a value raise.
Like 20%, and he calls the raise of 600. Small pot, but like he did call incorrectly. This is
interesting to see.
Probably one of the most impressive calls he makes throughout the entire video. You'll see basically like this chick check raises flop on 7-6-3. He calls, Hillary calls with ace 7. She bets. Wait, does she check here? Oh, she checks turn. She checks turn. Oh, maybe this isn't as impressive as I thought. But then
it's going to be hard for her to know that.
It looks like, yeah, it checks to Wino again. She bets and he calls, and like I think this is like
interesting.
Pretty reasonable call. It's also notable that like he doesn't have the best hand here technically. So if he was using some sort of vibrator or buzzer, like he could be losing to ace 7 here. Moving on. I thought this hand was interesting. Just that like he gets 3 bet by ace queen here, and he chooses not to 4-bet even though he has ace king. And then the guy flops a queen, and he folds to the turn bet.
Sato.
Or he folds to the river bet.
Extra.
Yeah, he folds here. And then, so like if he was cheating, he'd probably just 4-bet small or something like that. Here, he gets in. He 3-bets king queen off for approximately 45 blinds, and gets it in against kings incorrectly. Here, I mean, here's this is a spot like if you're cheating, like you can call here. They end up getting to the river here, and this guy bets 1500, and you have ace 9. Like you can potentially hero here, and he does not. He folds. He folds.
And Hillary folded.
And then here, I think he's just messing around with some fish, but he actually folds this.
For the really weird viewer.
So the thing
I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but he folds here. Clearly not cheating. I think he was just trying to make this fish happy, to be honest. It's an absurd fold, and it's incorrect. So moving on to this session, which actually, if you open the where is that picture? Hold on 1 second. Okay, so this picture, which basically like tracks all his sessions, is actually missing his biggest winning session, which is plus 40k. So he's actually up 200, not 160. So I thought this is going to be interesting because this is a 40k session. I don't know if anyone's really looked at, and I looked at every single hand from this session. So you'll see he makes some correct plays, some incorrect plays, but you can judge for yourself whether you think he's cheating. Okay, here he heroes king high on the river on the queen 8-3 ace into a queen. It's an incorrect call. It's only 700. Here, okay, he gets triple barreled here. The guy bets like 300 on the flop, 900 on the turn, and then he jams river for 2700, and he folds trip kings here with bad kicker when the flush draw misses. I mean, I'd probably call in this game. It is a really nice fold, I guess, but I don't think it's anything too out of the ordinary. Going to the next hand. So he has 6-4 here. The board is 9-3 deuce. Turn 6. And he basically floats flop.
At least number.
Floats turn. I mean, he turns a pair and a gutter on the turn. And he calls on river for 1500 incorrectly.
Okay,
and the guy's 2-pair. This is his best session. So incorrect call there. Ace jack. Okay, I mean, I don't even know why I really included this. He made a straight on the turn 4-way. He bet, the guy called, and he just blocker leads river. Seems totally reasonable. The guy is king, calls. Okay. So this is a hand where he 3-bets his jacks pre and Drew calls, and then Drew leads out on the flop. 1100, he calls. Leads out turn, he calls. River ace, the guy leads 3k, and he calls. I think this is pretty reasonable. I don't think this is very suspicious. Next hand. So like I thought this hand was
almost over.
So he like 3-bets pre. I thought this was pretty interesting how he played this, but he 3-bets pre. It goes 3-way. He bets flop.
100 isn't a lot
This guy was 7-5
for
calls.
DGAF.
And
But it's a lot for DQ.
oh, hold on, the graphics were messed up. Alright, so they're heads up on the turn with pot left. He decides to check. And then actually, river's the ace of hearts. And DQ jams here. And he incorrectly folds queens. Like, there's no way if you're cheating you fold here. Oh, so he bets 3K. And he folds. He folds. So next hand. This is like, it basically just gets to the river, I think.
This is your chance. If you bluff me and again,
Some money went in on the flop. Turns
he
a
just
6.
checks.
River's a
And
9 of
gets-
clubs, so there's 4 straight and 3 flush. And this guy bets a
There.
flush. He folds.
Damn, did you make a flush?
Super standard. And then here, we've got kings. This is just to point out, like, he basically coolered someone for 14K. I don't know if you have to get an ace king here for 14K, but it was like kings versus ace king for 14K. So that was actually like his biggest win, 40.5K. And there was nothing suspicious there. There were lots of incorrect calls and folds. I didn't like show you these. These were really like kind of standard calls. There's not really, and this is like a standard fold. He folded top pair when the flush got there correctly. So I showed you all the notable hands from that session. So here we go to June 6th, and
He has a seat.
early on in this session, I guess we're an hour in.
In the game.
He folds queens here.
He's
This
at
guy
a
puts him in with
regular-
ace 8,
regular
and he
to be
folds.
at
Like,
this casino.
it's, yeah. So he incorrectly folds there again. Here was interesting.
Keep daring around.
Like, he
Jack and a deuce. He clicks it back.
gets check raised when he has 2 pair.
Let me off.
Oh, never mind. He goes bottom 2. That is a great card.
He
for
calls.
DGAF.
The guy checks his top pair, and he actually checks
Keep
back
daring
jack deuce
around.
on the turn. He checks back jack deuce. He doesn't bet. So like he doesn't know he just has a6. The river does counterfeit him, but I think that's kind of irrelevant. Here he's got 7 high. The other guy has ace high. The board is like, you know, there's 3 queens and a king, and they both have missed flush draws. And this guy bets 1K into 3, and he
Show
min
it.
raises here with
Show it,
7
though.
high, and gets a fold. Yeah.
B chips.
Next hand. I mean, I don't think that's like really notable. I think it's a nice bluff. Again, here he's got jack 6. We're here on the river. I think a bet went in on the flop.
Make this call. His call.
He calls river with jack 6 incorrectly against the queen. Thought this like I just really don't think he's cheating actually. Like, he double barrels 10-7 on 9-6-3 ace, and this guy leads jack 6 on the river.
11.
Like, this is like pretty reasonable to spot to raise like against a fish. No matter what. So I'm surprised he didn't raise here, but he actually just folds. And then,
Has to be right.
okay, so this was like his best hand of the session. He basically calls down with ace king high here with the ace of hearts. I guess we
more
should
than
look at the flop turn river play real quick. $800 goes in pre.
Here's holding to each
I
other.
assume
That's
he
a dare draw.
Yeah, we don't know what.
I think he profited to
he 4-bets ace king. This guy's calling his 4-bets with ace 9 off. Like, these games are really fucking soft.
get dare.
I mean, he calls the 4-bet with ace 9 off, and then he just fucking leads. Like, these people are just
This
dumping.
competition.
And then he just leads again.
I don't
And
think
then
Darren
he jams his last 1400 in.
realized the one.
I mean, where do they find these people?
2570. Okay.
So I think he's definitely not cheating that session. I don't think he's cheated any of these previous sessions. I think you guys would agree. And then the last one I looked at was the June 20th. He won 17K here. And also I want to point out the VPIPs. So he's VPIPing 36, 55, 56, 58, 40. So it's not 70 like it was for like 1 or 2 sessions. It's normally a bit lower. So here's the last batch of hands.
Who is this guy?
33?
He lets it.
Sorry. All right, what is this hand again? Oh, he folds river. Yeah, so like she bets river as a bluff, and he folds top pair here incorrectly during this session. Here, just pointing out, he makes a straight and wins 10K off this guy. This is the
Forgot.
I think it's the ace 9 guy. Actually, no, I'm confusing him. He's another fish. Here is just like just shows you like how crazy bad some of these players are. So this is a bomb pot. DQ bets with the nut flush draw on the flop. He raises his ace 4 suited. This guy peels the flush draw. This guy's got 7K on the turn. And it's like, all right, let's say you're Postle and you know this guy has a flush draw. What do you bet here? I mean, maybe you bet 2.5K, 2K. Keep him in with his flush draw. DGAF bets 4K, which I'm like, this is like the incorrect size, right? So like clearly he doesn't know he has a flush draw, but actually he fucking calls anyway with the king eye flush draw. So it was the correct size. And then James River he folds. So like these people are just dumping. And then I mean he flops trips here against the boat. He calls the raise as he should.
She's all in.
And she just jams 16K into 2.5. And he folds. So, you know, this group of sessions, this is 5 sessions, and it is the sums to, this is 111K winnings over 5 sessions. And I think it's like very clear he's not cheating. So like I definitely want to apologize for my post, but so I don't think he's cheating, and I could check the rest of the sessions, but I think it's like pretty unlikely he would start cheating after he's gone on this heater. I don't think he needs to. I agree these games are like fucking incredibly soft, and like, you know, Mike Postle made the correct decisions in like all these tough spots, and the reality is like this, he wasn't actually put in that many tough spots, and when he was, he actually didn't have very good accuracy. Like he made some really nice calls, but like he made a lot of incorrect folds. And I'm saying incorrect in like, you know, the other person had a worse hand and he should have called. So overall, I don't think he cheated. I mean, that podcast was suspect as fuck. I'm sorry. When someone starts claiming like they've won more big blinds than anyone in history, like I just get suspicious. I don't know. I can't help myself. But like I'm probably gonna get criticized for not having done this before I posted that, and that's maybe fair. I had been looking at some stuff, but I didn't like put it all down in Excel. Um, you know, and you know, this hand. Let me show you this one hand that just like really fucking bothered me. This hand here, like, oh, sorry, this is not the. All right, 1 second. Maybe this is not. Oh, this is from a later session, but he does call the overbet from Schwan here with King 9. Let me just grab this one last hand. Okay, here it is. So yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like this hand made me really suspicious when I first saw it. And basically, it's this hand where like he 3-bets. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's this hand where he 3-bets Marley with when he has King of Diamonds 7, and she has Ace 8 of Diamonds, and like, you know, he bets 5-4, 5-5-4 2 diamonds. She calls, turns the deuce. He bets, she calls, and then rivers the Queen of Diamonds, and there's half pot left, and he has the King of Diamonds blocker, and he thinks for 5 seconds and checks. And I'm just like, who doesn't bet, who doesn't shove this river, who doesn't at least tank and think about it? Like you have no showdown value, and you have like a flush blocker. Like this hand, it got me suspicious early on, plus the podcast. So, but I spoke too soon. That's my bad. Hopefully this video makes up for that. And yeah, that's all. See you guys.